really mad.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know who else is about to be mad? Everyone who thought that assault rifles were banned in California, right?
Well,
Wouldn't that make people really happy?
yeah, I think a lot more people are happy that there's being a precedent set on the definition of what an assault rifle is.
Mm-hmm.
So in California this week, there was a judge out of San Diego, a federal judge, who has ruled that the 30-year-old, I think it's 28-year-old, uh, assault weapons ban that California has in place is
Mm-hmm.
unconstitutional. And it made a lot of sense the way he presented the argument.
Yeah.
And it upset a lot of people like the governor Gavin Newsom, who is kind of a dickhead. And
Dickhead.
I mean he's being recalled, so
Good.
the
Wow.
biggest thing was they classified the AR-15 a weapon of war and an assault rifle.
But
So
it's not.
yeah, so you couldn't buy one without special permitting, special licenses. They also had the magazine where they limited a magazine to 10 rounds, which is a waste of time, and a bunch of other stuff. Well, so the judge said, well, this item, right, this tool is available in almost every other state. I think New Jersey is the only other one with almost as strict restrictions as California.
Like
So,
43 states that I saw, like it didn't have those restrictions or
yeah.
something like that. It was
So it's unconstitutional to restrict it in this one state. It violates your right to bear arms because the rest of the country more or less deems it, you know, a right. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I thought it was pretty interesting. And this also has a lot of or it sets a lot of precedents moving forward, especially with the current administration's gun control agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the people, you'll hear people use the term common sense gun laws, but the 90% of the time, the people that say that can't really even tell you what an AR-15 is, right? Like they're gonna tell you it's an assault rifle 15. No, shut the fuck up, guy.
Yeah, you have no idea what an AR-15 stands for. What does a 15 mean? Huh?
I don't
I
know.
completely forget, but it is
Gun
the
stuff.
AR is the first and last initials of the original creator of the gun.
Oh, that I
I
didn't
Mm.
know.
Yeah. And then so like the biggest difference, right, between what the military carries an M4 and what the civilian models are, the AR-15 is like the M4 has like a 3-round burst or full auto, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
is an officially assault rifle. You The civilian model is a semi-automatic, one pull of the trigger, one bullet fires. And there's no difference between the functionality of an AR-15 and a handgun or a semi-automatic shotgun, or like the functionality is the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, I always say I can do a lot more damage with a Beretta shotgun than I could my AR.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. So Don put this in the chat. He says, "What if somebody brings out a sword?" When I was researching this topic in particular, there was there were more deaths by knives in this country more so than
Hmm.
gun violence. And I thought that was an interesting statistic. And I was thinking, like, well, what is it about like these machine guns or assault weapons that make this a prime target? The percentage of these incidents is so low. Like I think it was like 65 people per capita or whatever. So like what are they trying to accomplish? Because I was trying to understand like both sides of the coin, like if that makes sense. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, well, I just want to make sure that none of these people die. But it's like at the same token, it's in my head when you say an assault weapon, I'm thinking like a bazooka or like a machine of war. Like I'm thinking something
RPG.
like that.
Yeah.
Those aren't
Yeah.
what's really considered an assault weapon.
Oh yeah.
heavy machinery.
Well, and so that's where the big debate comes in, right? Where's the line? Because yes, it's a civilian model of a military rifle, but that's because here in the United States, we believe we have the right to defend ourselves from the government, including our own, right? If
Mhm.
wheel is rolling towards lately.
We didn't disconnect.
It
No,
just keeps reloading, loading.
every time
Oh.
Scary's here, it's like it always dies.
Right?
Kidding. Just kidding, Scary.
But yeah, this really set a good precedent because it kind of more or less stops California from continuing rolling forward with more laws because, as they say, whatever happens in California usually happens to the rest of the country, 5 to 6 years down the line. So, with everybody, a lot of states passing their constitutional carry plus this, it's actually building a very big argument against gun control and actually setting some legal precedents, which makes a lot of gun owners happy.
Mhm. Well, I mean, after years of, basically being told we're going to make it harder to get guns for unstable people, like the only person that they've been hurting are legal gun owners. We haven't been able to successfully stop people who shouldn't be owning guns from acquiring guns. So clearly, every little step along the way has not worked. Like it's
I'm
been a constant failure. We've had shootings after shootings the past 5 years alone, more than we did the previous decade.
And the sad part is the last few, you would say, mass shootings. So, mass shooting technically here in the United States is 4 more people perish in the attack, right?
Hmm.
So, the last 2 or 3 attempted mass shootings were stopped by an armed civilian,
Hmm.
but they're not going to talk about that or politicize that because it goes against the narrative, right?
Yeah.
Guns bad. People don't need guns. Well, maybe if we had more guns in the hands of responsible people, the irresponsible people would think twice.
Yeah. Like here in Texas, I mean, the whole thought is in Texas, everyone and their grandmothers own a gun, right? Like we all know this is a common thing. This is a common mentality for people when they hear, "Oh, where are you from?" Texas. Oh shit, you got a gun. I better back off. Like that mass shootings aren't as common here as they are in other states.
Yeah, because you got to stay strapped or get clapped, yo.
Exactly.
Scary knows what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, he's carrying ninja
Yeah.
stars, so I don't know.
I kind of liken it to like the war on drugs. Like the war on drugs was so unsuccessful in so many different ways because it was demonized, right? So
Mhm.
like demonizing firearms, like I don't think that's the answer. Like that law in California has been around for 32 years and it hasn't done anything really
Now,
to stop
see,
what's happened there.
see, I like where you're going with it, but I can honestly say, for me, I think it was uh the war on drugs didn't fail. The war on drugs worked on the drugs it was aimed towards, right?
Mhm.
Because the war of drugs came out because of the crack epidemic and the cocaine epidemic that was going on in the United States at the time. And so for those 2 items, the war on drugs worked. Now
I don't think
they
so. Say that
they
to
put
people
in
in Miami.
Yeah.
well, I
Said
can't speak
the
I can't
war
speak for
on
the people
drugs
in
is
Miami, but yeah, I'm not saying that the whole concept, right? But at the time, like in New York and stuff, the crack epidemic was slowed down because of the war on drugs, right? Like there are some items that we don't always consider, millennials don't consider all the items that are on the war on drugs list to be drugs, right?
Mhm.
Like we have a different view. But
Yeah.
at that time and place in the 80s, I think the idea to really curve crack epidemic was what the whole point of it was. And
Yeah,
it,
but
it did slow that down. But again, it went the war on drugs, I think, is far or we far surpassed the need for it, right?
Yeah, now
Mhm.
now all it does is it demonizes everyday Hispanics or Mexicans who are coming across the border to do stuff. Like
Smuggling drugs.
Pretty
Where are you
much.
going
No,
with
okay,
this?
war on drugs was racist against African Americans and the Hispanics, and you can definitely say that because it targeted those minorities, and the CIA was funneling drugs in through Florida
Yeah.
to sell to make money for America.
Mhm.
There was never an
Yeah.
actual war on drugs. It was a war on minorities.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, hot button.
No, you're
Mic
good.
drop.
You're good. That's exactly what I wanted
No,
to say.
I
It was a
mean-
war on minorities.
Yeah. Not everything's perfect, right?
I mean,
Like,
no,
what are we
was
gonna?
like, no,
what can we do
no.
about the meth epidemic? Right? Like, so we went from a crack epidemic to like a meth epidemic, or fentanyl. It's really, I think
And that's-
fentanyl is really the issue nowadays.
yeah, now
and
it's
that's
big
really
pharma.
a war on the impoverished.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that stuff is cut and stepped on so many times that like it's basically rat poison. And I mean, it's poor people in poor communities usually generate towards those types of things. So like why, like I don't know, it feels like they're keeping you down. Like no, you're poor. Like
yeah.
here's some drugs.
See, that's the thing. Is like, personally, I believe let the people smoke their fucking weed, but there's nobody that needs to be shooting heroin on the street corner, right?
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Like, so where do we do?
And it's frustrating that this is like super off our topic.
Yeah.
That libraries are keeping stock of, is it Norclan?
Yeah,
The-
Northland.
North,
Norcla? Um,
North,
North
Our Filipino
Northland.
friend.
for the homeless people that are at or near around the libraries who overdose, and librarians are having to learn this life-saving aid and keep it on hand
Really?
Mhm.
for them.
Wow.
But at the same time, Norma, how much is an EpiPen to save your life?
Well,
It's-
before administration stepped in, it was like $700 without insurance.
yeah. So we're keeping
So-
Northland free for the overdoses, but we can't even get life-saving drugs for our regular everyday citizens.
has it gone
Insulin.
back up since they repealed the healthcare ban or the price limit?
I don't know. I haven't gotten an EpiPen in this administration yet, but when I do, I'll let you know.
I mean,
I'm just
compare.
living life on the edge.
Roll the dice.
No, we're very careful in this house. Nothing peanutty is allowed.
Oh,
But-
I slip a peanut every
trying to
once in a
kill her
while
on a
just
regular
to see how
basis,
she's gonna
though.
react. Day 100, she's still alive, so we're good.
Maybe you help me with my immunity because I can eat almonds and other tree nuts now.
I mean, okay, so switching gears a little more, going back to California, if this law is unconstitutional, what does that mean for the people who had to get rid of their AR-15s?
So that's the big question, right? Like, so this happened this week. It's kind of a breaking story. And then the law has to be deceased by July 4th. So we have from now till July 4th to hammer out the details and figure it all out.
I know what we're
Oh,
doing
really
July
short
4th.
time frame. Let freedom ring.
Exactly.
I'm
July
gonna
4th,
be like
SoCal.
Scourge from Thor. Da, 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 da.
Behold my ammo.
Oh, Jesus.
Funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're having like a ninja battle in the comments, and it's kind of hilarious.